So when we did this yesterday, look at those sweet, sweet examples. What a good time. We were talking about greater than, right? And we were asking about what the word or meant. And then now, whoops. Now we are all going to open to page 8 of our note packet. So we'll know you're ready when you're on page 8, right? Page, oh, it might not be numbered. If there's not a number at the bottom, you will know you're on page 8 because it will say right here for and problems. Right, so that's how you know you're on page 8. It will be what we kind of left off with yesterday. And we are solving, today we are solving less than, right? So that symbol just means less than. And what I want you thinking about is, what does and mean? So we're going to solve some less than equations, which require, less than inequalities, which require and in our work. So I'll give you a second to write down that essential question, and then we're going to get after it. So right now I'm asking you to stay focused, to do a good job, to be writing, to be listening, because we're going to build on what we did yesterday, which is awesome. And hopefully that'll make this go a little bit easier. So today we're talking about less than. So if you get a greater than question, you're on the wrong page. But what are our steps? You already know what the first one is. Isolate the absolute value. Remember, isolate means I want to be alone. Absolute value wants to be alone. So we're going to isolate that absolute value. Then, just like before, we're going to write two inequalities, right? We're going to get that absolute value alone. And we're going to write, first, of course, we're going to circle the guts. And then we're going to write an inequality where we're just less than whatever number we have. And then our next inequality is going to be greater than the negative version. And we'll use the word and we'll use the word and to join those two things. So remember, the first equation or the first inequality is sort of just a copy. But in the second one, we're going to flip the inequality symbol. And we're going to change to negative. Right? That's the same as before. We're going to flip it, and we're going to change it. So then of course, we are going to solve both parts. Right, because we've written two, so now we need to solve both. And then because these are and problems, we end up writing what's called an inequality sandwich. And I'll show you what I mean here. So get that all written down. And then let's dig into these two examples that I see right here. And then we'll do one from your Delta Math, right? And then you will have the chance to do your Delta Math. So I'm pausing for a second. Okay, so when I look at this first one, I'm looking right here. And the first thing it says is isolate the absolute value. Well, there's nothing behind it, nothing in front of it. It's alone on its side of the inequality. So here's m minus 2. Since it's alone, we can unlock it. Unlocking it. One side will stay the same. The other side will flip the inequality and make it negative, right? And then we'll put the word and in between to join those ideas. That means that m is less than 10 and m is greater than negative 6. In terms of the graph, we would have an open circle at 10, and we'd be going less than. And we'd have an open circle at negative 6, and we'd be going greater than. And you'll notice they're working their way back towards 0, which is super cool. To write this sandwich, here's how we do it. We are going to use these two numbers, negative 6 and 10, and we're going to put x in the middle like it's a sandwich, right? Like x is the turkey inside the two slices of bread of the numbers. What we do then is we use this less than symbol, less than, and that is how we have to put it in delta math. So the negative 6 made one side, the 10 made the other side, and x was in the middle of our sandwich. Okay, I'm going to show you that again for this next question. We've got p plus 4. It's alone. We are ready to unlock it. Unlock. P plus 4 will be less than or equal to 8. One side's a copy. Switch the inequality, change it to negative. Solve both sides. So many minus 4s happening here. And p is either less than or equal to 4, and p is greater than or equal to negative 12. So here we go. These are closed circles. We're going to drop that closed circle right here. We're going to get bigger. We're going to go to 4. We're going to drop that closed circle right here, and we're going to get smaller. Then we're going to finish with our sandwich. Negative 12 is the low number. 4 is the high number. X is the turkey. We're going to sandwich x between those two numbers. Now, here's the wrinkle. So is an equal to? There's an equal to. There's our answer. Okay. Now, let's do this. Here's your, well, that's not yours. Here's your delta math. 7th hour. Notice how it says notes example? And then you already know it says some problems that you're going to get to do. But I'm going to click on this notes example. Right? And I am going to grab this question. And I'm going to come back in here, and we're going to do this question. So I'm skipping this 9-1, and I'm now on next page. So this inequality here, let me get this pasted in here. Oh. Well, it's like giant. Was not expecting that. There's my inequality that we're going to talk about right now. So I'm putting it in the top of that box. So now you're on page 9. Look, this one is marked. I don't know what happened to page 8. I apologize. But on page 9, there's 2 more of those organizers that we practiced with yesterday. Here it is. We are going to, first thing we're going to do is we're going to isolate. Remember, that's what we're doing in this first box. We are isolating. As in, I want to be alone. The x minus 1 that's in the absolute value, it wants to be alone. So here we go. Let's clear out the 7. See you later. Clear out the 5. There it is. Okay. Now that absolute value, I want to be alone, it's isolated. So now we're ready to unlock it. On one side of the unlock, we've got it regular. On the other side, notice the x minus 1, x minus 1, x minus 1, it does not change. Okay, so then the x minus 1, we're going to solve that. X is less than 11, and don't forget your and, x is greater than negative 9. So we isolated it, we split it, or unlocked it, as you've heard me say a couple times. We solved it, and now we're going to talk about the graph. So we would have negative 9 and 11. We want to be less than 11 and more than negative 9. So then how do we write our sandwich? Well, negative 9 is the low number on our sandwich. 11 is the high number. X is the turkey in the middle. And we're going to put less thans between. It's always going to be less thans. Could be less than or equal to, but we're going to use probably less than most of the time. And it just matches whatever you had in the original. So you can do this. Let's go back to our Delta Math and type this in. So let's get that keyboard out of there. Our low number was a negative 9. We're using a less than because we had a less than right here. We have an x, we have a less than, and then we had an 11. Okay, so we'll submit that. Hopefully you clicked submit at the same time. And there we go. I'm going to go back up to here. Remember, we had those steps. You've got another one down below. We're not going to use that one. Maybe we'll do that one another day. But you can do this. You got this. Ready, set, go.